Philip's forehead did not sweat one time. No sweat on the head. I mean, just seamless. I was like, yo, this is amazing.
This is a story that I think, unfortunately, we can relate to a little bit too much. Something that we know all too well, being in America, right? And this is something that doesn't even take place there. But it may as well, because I don't know about you. I was feeling like I heard about this kind of thing before. I was feeling like when the scene was painted for us, when we realized what we're getting thrust into, I said, this is unfortunately really familiar. So check out this clip of Skierlik, and we'll be right back with our discussion.
From where I am standing over here, before the dust could even settle, I can see a boy. I can see a white boy wearing khaki clothes with a gun in his hand, emerging from the dust, and he is just shooting. He is just shooting and shooting and shooting, shouting, "Come eight, yellow bloody cars! Come eight, yellow bloody cars! Ek sal julle doodmaak, ek sal alles doodmaak." And here I am, running back to my shack, and I am shouting, "Anna! Anna! Anna!"
All right, so first things first.
Yep.
Before we get deep into this, I want to completely say that I was very excited that this was brought to us.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And that is because I knew, for some reason, and if y'all don't think I'm just making this up, you can go back, check out our review of the series Soon Comes Night and see what I said about this, okay? I said there were only like 2 episodes that featured the actor Phillip Dikotla, and within those 2 episodes, he knocked it out of the park. And I was like, I really cared about his character. I wanted to see more. And, you know, unfortunately, his character ends up getting killed in the show, and it's a whole thing, right? But I was so invested in 2 episodes. And why is that? Is what it stayed with me.
Yeah.
And it turns out Phillip is an actor's actor.
Yes, baby. Yes, he is.
So we came across the passion project of said actor, Phillip Dikotla, and this has been something that has been developed over several years and has recently found its way to streaming. So Skierlik is effectively a stage play. It's a one-man show, and it's continuous. It's told throughout, and it is the story of the 2000. Well, let me be clear. I'm gonna paint the scene for us real quick.
Paint it.
So, this is the story of a man who was living in Skierlik during the 2008 massacre. So many people may not know about that if you're on a international, if you're watching this in a different country, but this would have been South Africa based. Okay, so in 2008, a young white man, and Tiera, you can insert any point here because I know we've both heard this kind of story, unfortunately.
Yeah.
In 2008, a young white man, disgruntled, decides that he's going to take a gun and he was going to go to Skierlik, where it's a small ghetto, if you will, a small sort of slum kind of town where black people are, and that he was going to kill as many black people that he could absolutely find.
Yeah.
In this, he ends up, killing, I think, like 4 people, injuring more. One of them being a 3-month-old baby, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I was like finding connections to this.
Mm-hmm.
This story is titled Skierlik, based on that place in that setting.
Yeah.
This story could have been titled Charleston.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Colorado. Yeah. Texas.
It just could have had so many location-based titles that it's not even funny.
Mm-hmm.
And to know that this is something that is taking place in another part of the world that we may not even think about or consider. I hadn't heard about the Skierlik Massacre prior to watching this film.
Mm-hmm. Same.
And unfortunately, we are living in a world where these occurrences are becoming even more common, than they were in 2008 when this happened. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But that is the tone, that is the background of the story that we are being told. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I just want to get that out there first. Before we get into the story itself and Phillip's performance, Tiera, your take on just the background of what we are getting into.
Yeah, the parallels. I also had never heard of Skierlik or the massacre that happened there, but through watching this, it hit me kind of in the same way they hit you. Like, man, like they're on the other side of the world, but also experiencing something or have experienced something similar, and that this is something that was once very taboo, like mass shootings and that sort of a thing, but now it's become so regular. So it was tough, but I do think that the tone was reflected appropriately in this story, in the film. I don't know, we'll get more into that, but it definitely, I feel like it told the story in the way that like it needed to be told.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really honestly, in a very ironic way, it's like you don't even want to be able to relate to it,
right? To
something like that. But here I was like thinking of numerous stories that I've heard like this, and I was like, this is wild. That's not a good thing. That's not okay.
Mm-mm.
But that being said, we start out this stage production in a very simple way, okay? And let me just say, to do a one-man show and to do it to this degree takes a lot of balls.
Man.
Phillip, he was like, you know what? I'm going to show you all what I can do. I'm going to do all... It's one of those things where it's like, if you were ever going to look for an actor to cast in something, he'd be like, here, just watch it.
Just watch this. Like, I don't need to audition. Roll the tape. Roll my tape.
Yes. Absolutely stellar performance. And the reason I say that is you have to really be bringing it in order to get people to lose themselves in one setting. So we're on a stage, we see a man sitting there, and the tone is set. Okay, we get a voiceover before he talks, and what I also enjoyed was the camera motions throughout.
Yes,
this is one shot, one take.
Yes,
no cuts, no anything.
Yes,
And he gives us the performance of a lifetime, I must say.
Yes.
I am here. Johannesburg. Joburg. Now, without going back to Deep Sloot, where I have been staying in the past year to take my toothbrush or any of my belongings, I come straight here to the hiking spot with no other thought crossing my mind except those of my family back home in Skierlik.
Your original take as it's starting out, because again, this is us going into it unaware of what we're getting into, unaware of the background of it, but also that this is a legit one-man show on a stage, one camera, one take. When it started out, what was your thing? What was happening in your head? Were you like, wait a minute now?
No. So starting out, when it opened, I thought, okay, hold up. This is our first time like reviewing a play. So I was excited about that because we have not done that on this platform. So I was excited about that. Also, on a personal note, I haven't seen anything like in a play fashion in quite some time. So I was like, okay, I'm into this.
It was so refreshing, right?
It really was. Like, I was excited, although, like, the story is, sad, but like, I was excited to get into something new. Also, it let me know he's about to give what he's supposed to have gave, because there's no way someone is going to make this a film and put it online available for people internationally as a play and a one-man show with one set, one scene, unless it's giving. So I knew it was going to give. So I was excited. Like, I was really excited going into this.
He played no games. He gave us full energy starting out. As he was painting that scene of the ride in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
Right? And he's just giving constant energy. First of all, I'm so out of shape, I would have been done for it.
Yo,
I would have been breathing heavy.
I was like, how's he not out of breath at any moment?
Yo, that first scene, once I was done with that truck ride, I would have been...
Hold on, y'all. Cut the camera.
We're going to have to do another take. But, inadvertently showing us his athleticism,
yes,
right?
Yes, flex on us.
But he's painting the scene. He's in the back of this truck. He's going to a destination. And at this point, I'm like, oh, I see what's happening here. I'm going to have to do the work in my head to be taken into this world, which I greatly appreciate.
Yes.
I don't know if I said this to you before on this platform, but it's very similar to if you ever see like a horror film. Some of the biggest moments in horror movie history are the ones we never see. That's when you don't get to necessarily see the monster. You just hear it.
Yeah.
Or that's why the jump scare works. You don't know what's coming.
Right.
Or someone, happens to, get sawed up. But you don't have to see it. You just hear the crunching of bones and guts. Right. And in your mind, you create a whole thing that would be far worse than what they could actually even show you on camera. Having a one-man show that is designed to take you to a place where you may have never heard of, to see people that you may have never seen in an environment you may have never been in, takes a considerable effort and skill. And I think he set the tone early on in that. There was one line that came up early in the show when he's talking about, people and how they care more about brand than they do people. And you're wondering, why is he even saying that? But don't worry, all questions get answered in the end.
Skierlik is a brand. Yes, Skierlik is a brand. Skierlik is a brand like Sowetan, Sunday Sun, Daily Sun, Mandela. Yes. Come on. Mandela is a brand. You know, something small happens to Mandela, or a Mandela papers are sold. Shelves, skills, gone. Yes, like last year, 2 years back, the Sunday Sun said that the SABC was rehearsing the broadcasting of Mandela's funeral in case he dies. Now ask yourself, why not my funeral? I mean, why not your funeral? Why not some witch from Limpopo's funeral? Because we are not brands.
And this is so true just in the world in general. There are people who care to be associated with a brand at a time, at a moment in time, and they forget about the actual human beings involved. And I think that this story is, that's the bigger, story being told. It just happens that it takes place in this Skierlik Massacre.
Yeah.
What did you think about that being the sort of the way we got in, and then also how we came out of it was from this perspective of people wanting to be attached to a big moment? I can fully remember when Muhammad Ali died, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And everyone was clamoring to go to the event, go to the funeral, do all these things, just be seen and be out there. Mm-hmm. But nobody was like, how's his family doing?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You basically are sharing this moment with the world, so everybody comes in. But when everybody leaves,
yeah,
when these massacres happen, whether it be police brutality or whatever, the families still have to mourn and deal with this even after the camera's gone, even after the press stops talking about it.
Correct.
But what did you think about that being the overall point of view and the scope of this story? I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I thought it was an interesting choice to put that in this story where we would think that, oh, it's just about this massacre and about what happened there. But it also, by putting that in there, it kind of reflected or turned the mirror back to the viewer and made the viewer say, okay, how do you show up in this? How does that reflecting back to the viewer? How do you show up in this? Like it made the viewer look at themselves and how they view themselves, not just the story or the situation. Like, how are you reacting to something like this? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so from there, once we kind of get the scene painted, we learn about how he travels with his father and how he ends up in Skierlik, and the idea of a group of people, just choosing to settle in a place because they could no longer be where they were, and then growing from there.
Yeah.
I'll say this though. Once he gets into a point where he's well into, I think we're like 20 minutes in at this point, and we're finally in Skierlik, and he's describing who he sees, just starting out. It was at this point I would have appreciated, and you can let me know if you thought this too, I would have appreciated a score. And I did not think about it at all until this moment, where if there was a music has a way of painting a scene as well audibly, right? And if there was a undertone of a instrument that just changed the mood or changed the setting anytime we got into something else.
Yeah.
I also thought about that before we got into Skierlik, when he spoke about his father. And so he's giving us high energy early on. He pulls it back, chills out. He's telling us about his father, and you see him as a young man, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, if there was a score here that just kind of carried it.
Yeah.
I think something like that would have been just the icing on the cake. was not necessary. Let me be clear.
Right.
But I think it would
cake.
have driven it home. But did you have that thought at any point, or were you just locked in?
No, it's funny that you said that you were thinking about a score because I was thinking about lighting. And having the lighting change the mood. So like when he spoke about his father, we see that change, like his demeanor change, going into Skierlik and seeing the people, like seeing the lighting change the mood. So I'm kind of with you there, but I was thinking about it as far as lighting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and these all are things that just would have been additional levels up, because I still think that throughout the overall performance, you get locked in consistently. And this, again, is just really hard to pull off. This is an hour show.
Yeah.
This is an hour show top to bottom.
Yeah.
But it was just so good. So we get into Skierlik, the scene gets painted, and we kind of get, what he does is perfect. He lays out his relationship with his father, them building the shack, right? Gives you cues of other people, in the community who exist, and people who are having children, stuff, just people just existing and living, right?
Yeah.
And that's the perfect setup because, bit after that, when things sort of fall apart, and he's finally giving you the young white man coming in and he's retelling the story. The young white man coming in, shooting his gun, telling these people, come out the house, you K-word.
Yep.
I want to kill, people. I don't even know if I can kill this many times on YouTube.
You're going to bleep that. It's okay. You're going to bleep that.
But, he's painting the disgusting picture from a different perspective of like, I am now older. My father is passed on. I've been in Skierlik this whole time. I have a woman that I've fallen in love with. We have a small child. And those people get ripped away from you in seconds based on someone just having a bad day, right? Yeah. And someone wanting to take their racism to the worst level possible. But when he's giving us that performance, he had given us the life of Skierlik so well that you cared about
the people,
what was happening to people in Skierlik.
Yeah, I
thought that was brilliant. What was your thoughts on just the overall arcing? Because his transitions were also
top tier. Like when I was watching it, I was thinking about the camera and how he was able to transition and keep the single, what is it called, one take single. I'm not technical. Single camera focus, whatever you call that. Like the way that they were able to keep that, but then transition, top tier. But no, you mentioned that this was only like an hour long, and it felt longer, but not in a bad way. In a way to where he was able to captivate and bring you in, and to kind of like tell you about the characters without telling you about every single character. Tell you about the people of Skierlik and what it was like. It's almost like you could see the town in your head. You could almost hear the people in your head. You can hear children running around and just be like everyday life. So when the massacre, like you said, like when it happened, it was like, dang, like this happened to people that I just learned about. These were real life people. I mean, the way he did that, the way he told that story, top tier.
Literally top tier. There are actors that I know of that have been in the business at a high level for a long time that would not dare take this risk, would not dare write a story like this, would not dare tell a story, let alone tell it by themselves. I think some of the original like one-man shows and stuff that I've seen where, so long ago, this is like, we're talking like James Earl Jones era people, right? I remember watching Whoopi Goldberg do her one-woman shows and things like this. Mm-hmm. And there's only a few people that would even dare to touch this kind of thing. But to be able to paint an entire picture and tell a story with nothing. Bare minimum nothing. You can't beat that, because if you're going to say you're an actor, if you're going to say you do this seriously on this level, why wouldn't you want to try and go there?
Yeah.
I'm not mad at Phillip for this at all.
Not at all.
At all.
Not at all.
We end the story with the same way that we got in. So again, at the opening, he's telling us the perspective of these big names. Why would anyone care about Thomas? Which is our main character, by the way. Why would anyone care about Thomas? Who are you?
Right.
People want to be attached to brands. People want to be attached to stories. So once this massacre happens, he doesn't have his lady anymore. He doesn't have his child anymore. They've been taken away from him. That's all he wants back is his family, right? The people that he, grew up around and that he got to know, some of those people were gone, right? And there was so much chaos and commotion surrounding this massacre. The media comes in, the governments speak out, it's all in the news, the papers, for a few weeks maybe, tops. Mm-hmm. They come in, you may even get a political figure that will attend the ceremony. And because they come in and they do that, they put even more attention on a small group of people, to the point that nobody cares about those small group of people. If the president comes and speaks at a engagement because there was a massacre that happened, you find yourself, okay, what is the president's opinion on this? What does he have to say?
Right. It becomes about the president.
Yeah. This makes us question, and when I say us, I mean it just makes you, turn the mirror on yourself and say, when have I done this? Because I think we're all guilty of it. Mm-hmm. I think we all have wanted to attach ourselves to something great. This could just be you wanting to go to the latest concert or watch the latest movie, whatever. But you're doing it because everybody's
doing it. Mm-hmm.
You don't care who the director is. You don't care how they had to raise money for the movie. You don't care who is the background vocalist at the concert. None of that. You just want to be there. You all the way up here, top row. Yeah. With what them things called? What's these called?
Not binoculars.
Binoculars. Zooming in on your phone.
Please.
Just to say you were there.
Oh, you're right. Mm-hmm.
Right? Just so you could turn to someone and say, "Oh yeah, I was there. Mm-hmm. For your own bragging rights, your own selfish needs, your own selfish gains. That's what this story encompasses, and that's what this story does a good job of. To the point that I was like, "Oh, I gotta check myself because I think I've done this a few times." And it's a human thing, I think, to do. But I felt called out a little bit.
You said, who, me?
I was like, wait a minute now. Let me not do that, because there are human beings who are suffering even long after something like this happens.
Yeah.
So, let me get your final thoughts, and let me get a rating from you.
Yeah.
And then I will do the same for our first play.
Yes.
And our first one-man show review.
Yes, lots of firsts with this one.
Lots of firsts.
I'm happy that we had the privilege and the opportunity to take a look at this. I enjoyed it quite a bit. The one-man show of it all, I mean, chef's kiss. Phillip did the things, and I love that for him. It's been a while since I've seen a one-man show. I can't even really remember the last time I've seen anything even close. Maybe Denzel Washington and Fences, the film version, was maybe something kind of close that I was thinking of. I know Viola was in it, but the one scene and it being so dialogue heavy and you having to use your imagination, it kind of brought me back to that. But I love this. I love being able to use my imagination. I feel like we're in a space where everything is given to us. We don't have to think. You don't have to try. It's all given to you. So being able to do that in this was great. I think the storytelling was spectacular. So good that we didn't need a scene. At one point, I was looking at the background and I was like, are these mountains? What is this? It doesn't matter. Back in the story. It doesn't even matter. So it was so good. So yeah, shout out to Phillip for this. Also, shout out to the camera crew or the cameraman or camera woman, camera person, because They did the things also. I mean, it was seamless.
For an hour.
For an hour. I mean, it was seamless. And also, I'm glad you said for an hour because it brought me back to this. Philip's forehead did not sweat one time. No sweat on the head. I mean, just seamless. I was like, yo, this is amazing. Yes, Phillip, do the things. I love this for you. So yeah, all in all, I had a good time. I enjoyed this. I'm so glad we had the opportunity to review this. And I'm giving this to Angela Bassett, baby. Master class in acting. Yes.
Definitely a master class in acting. And I don't think that many are yet aware of Philip's work. And this is just us doing our part to spread the word. So currently you can stream this in multiple places, but it's also on Tubi. Y'all be on Tubi anyway.
Yo, I was so happy that this was on Tubi because I didn't know Tubi had like good stuff. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that it was there. Yes.
So it's accessible, right? You can also visit the website and support the film directly there. So there are many ways to be able to experience this, and I do highly recommend it because even though this is a South African actor giving us a story about a issue that occurred in South Africa, it's done so superbly. Okay, it's something that we as Americans can directly relate to, unfortunately. So you are not going to ever find yourself in a place where he's saying something that you feel disconnected to, or that you are like, oh, I don't know, I don't get this, right? It's literally full on relatable based on the world that we live in, which, again, that part is unfortunate. The acting was superb. Philip's athleticism. He did not sweat.
I did not sweat. Nope.
But his commitment to getting this story out there, number one, it being such a passion project, and then staying with it and getting it down long enough that you can do this so seamlessly. Hats off to you. I want to see Philip in more things. And dare I say, I want to see Philip crossover because he has something that a lot of people in the business don't. And that is raw talent. And he showcases all of that here. And I'm honestly like, and I'm not even being biased. I mean, like, I really enjoyed this. It was so refreshing to see, to experience, and to be allowed and given permission to get lost in what, the story that he was giving us. What a lot of theatrics going on, no props, no extras, crap, none of that.
Right.
We're going to tell you this story. We're going to give you this acting. We're going to make you feel, and you're going to get out of there. I, too, am going to give this to Angela Bassett. 10,000%.
10,000%. Yeah.
Highly recommend it. Philip, if you're watching this, just know I am not giving you any favors here. I really mean this. I really mean what I've said. And it's just what it is. I enjoyed the hell out of this this one-man show. I enjoyed it intensely. So don't think that I'm just like, blowing wind your way. All right?
No, because TeaRon doesn't do that.
No. Because I'm gonna tell you, if something came up, you was gonna hear about it, but you ain't hearing about it because
TeaRon don't do that.
You did the thing.
You did the things, Phillip. This was fantastic.
If you have been watching this for this long, go ahead and leave a comment, subscribe, like, share. If you listen to this as an audio medium, go ahead and leave a comment there. Also, leave us a 5-star review. That's the easiest way to support this show. And listen, If it's not 5 stars, don't even leave a review. Go on somewhere with that. That's why would you do that? Don't do that. Don't do that. You can find me on social media at TeaRon World on Instagram, at TeaRon with 2 underscores on TikTok, and you can also find Ubiquitous Blacks on various social media platforms. You can also email us recommendations, and share the love, all the things that you need to do to communicate with us. Please do so. ubiquitousblacks@gmail.com. Tiera, where can they find you?
Yes, you can find me on the socials at TieraTakes, TIERATAKES _ I'm over there doing some travel content, so come check me out. Also, if you just want to make it easy, that's fine. Just reach out on Ubiquitous Blacks platforms and I will get the message there. And I'm always going to echo my boy TeaRon. Please send us suggestions, recommendations, all the things our way. And as you see, we don't just do movies and TV shows, we do plays over here. So send us some plays.
We do all the things over here.
We do all the things over here. So send it our way and we will vet it. And then we'll watch it. And then we'll review it for y'all.
Now, again, if you give it to us and you want an honest review, we're going to give it to you.
We are.
Yes. So if you're not bringing what Phillip brought, if you're not giving Skierlik, you're not. Ooh, don't play with us. We're going to give it. We're going to tell you.
Don't play.
Okay?
But it's going to come from a place of love.
Oh, God. Oh, but yeah, all from a place of love.
Always. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, until we meet again, we will see you next Tuesday.
Yes.
Peace out, y'all.
Bye, y'all.